everybody? It's time for Talking with Topher. This is episode 276. It is July 17th, 2025. And as always, I am so happy to still be alive. Before we get into anything today, let me start out the way I always do by saying thank you. Thank you to all of my subscribers out there. You are what's keeping me coming back week after week. If you're new, subscribe. If you want to tell your story or get your opportunity to be a guest on this podcast, TALKIN with Topher at gmail.com. And then, of course, you got to send an audio, video, or type it out. The link tree, it's in the description below the video, along with all of the links discussed on today's podcast. All right, now with all the housekeeping out of the way, let's get it going. What's happening, everybody? It's so good to be back. I actually got a phone call today, and somebody needed a shoulder to lean on. Wild stuff, man. I'm telling you, when you get closer to 50, it gets interesting because this never gets any easier. Actually, I think it gets more difficult because, as we get older, people leave us, grandparents, stuff like that. And then as we creep into our old age, unfortunately, the next step has to take place. So, man, I just, the phone call was tough. I just listened. I think that's what's missing today. We're not listening to each other. You know what I mean? So there was not much for me to say. It was all listening, but, my heart goes out. I hope things go in the good direction, but unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it's going to. So at the end of the day, all we can do is listen to each other. All right, everybody, try to be there, listen. Sometimes the best thing said is nothing at all. It really is. It really, really is sometimes. So anyways, on that note, my puppy training is going really well. I had to repair my wife's vehicle and my vehicle. Actually, I get to do mine on the 4th of July. I am recording on the 1st of July, but today for you, it's the 17th. Isn't this fun? But I got another shirt. I didn't really point it out last week, but this is a Jerome Baker shirt. And I like this one because the back has a beautiful print on it. And like I said, all these shirts are like 23, 24 years old. I'm actually kind of glad this one doesn't look as yellow in camera as it does on me. I guess over time, it oxidized. I don't know, but it got a little hue to it, a little yellow hue to it. And I was like, I don't know how this is going to look, but man, I'm rocking it anyways because this thing is, man, I put it on and I was like, oh my God, I remember wearing my UFO pants, going to raves, buying the Jerome Baker that came, that the shirt came with, I remember, actually, I think I still have it in my closet, you know what I mean? But man, it was just another time. It was obviously, nothing like what's going on today. And I always thought my parents were crazy, right? Because they were always like, man, you kids don't know how good you had it when we were younger, when we were your age, right? It's always that same thing. But they are right because when I was in my 20s, man, I tell you, we got into some trouble, but today, a DWI or a DUI, now they're putting those breathalyzers in everybody's car. They found out how to get more money out of people for drinking and driving. And now I think everybody who gets a worst case offense or a second, a third, whatever, I don't think if you're, mildly under the influence and of age, I don't think they'll give you the breathalyzer as much as if you're blacked out and cause an accident. You know what I mean? For your first time, maybe there's some leniency there. Probably not today. There used to be when I was younger. We never even, I mean, you had to be on your second or third DUI and get into a very bad accident and or kill somebody in order to have a breathalyzer installed on your vehicle. Now, first offense. First offense, and they put one of these things in your car. It's going to cost you $1,200 to $1,400 a month, plus the SR22, which doubles your insurance. I mean, making it absolutely impossible to get back behind the wheel and make it very expensive. A lot of people are just waiting the year and a half and then only having to have that thing in their car for X amount of time, lessening the sentence behind the breathalyzer to get your car started. So there's all kinds of ways around it, but man, this stuff didn't exist. And when my dad was young, holy crap, when he was in his 20s, they used to get caught drinking and driving all the time. And most of the time, the Revere cops knew their parents. So they'd be like, dude, get the fuck home. I'm going to follow you and don't do this again. Like, they would actually let them drive home. So as you can see, over time, things have gotten more difficult and they have come down harder and harder on certain offenses. But today, it seems like it's absolutely positively needed. There's more people on the road, and no one really knows how to drive. I used to say that, like, I thought maybe if you could drink in America, you know, at a young age, that maybe you get it out of your system. But I think the American stupidity gets in the way of that. I don't think there's any way around it. You know, at the end of the day, people are not wrong about the way that they talk about Americans, I guess I could say. You know, the way we act, the way we do things, we are very entitled people. And we think we deserve everything at every moment for any reason whatsoever. And I don't think there's any fixing that. So maybe I was wrong in my assumption that we could all learn how to drink responsibly if we were to drink at a younger age. That, I think, is an incorrect way of thinking today. But it's just wild to me, you know? It's wild to me that everything has gotten the way it is. And today, if you are drinking and driving, I think you're just literally stupid at this point. With Uber, Lyft, taxis, I mean, flying taxi, whatever. There's all kinds of ways to get home. Like, you do not have to drive home today. And I think that's another reason why it's okay for them to make it so difficult for you to get your license back, or first offense can get a breathalyzer. But you really need to think about what you're doing. And I know that that's kind of a contradiction, because if you're drinking, there's no way you know what you're doing. I'm sorry. Even the most comparable drinker like myself, who could drink, function, never miss work, whatever, I've looked back on stuff that I've done around the house and things that I fixed while I was drunk. And unfortunately for me, it really showed me that I did not do as well as my brain was allowing me to think I was doing. So at any moment in time, as soon as alcohol is involved, I think even the most controlled person loses, you know, the certain functionalities of the brain. It gets shut off whether we want it to or not. Yeah, sure, we can still function, go to work, do our job, whatever. But when it comes down to details and finishing something, I don't think it all gets done correctly. So even though you could say, yeah, I'm functioning during work while I'm drinking, you may not be functioning 100%. You know what I mean? So I think that in itself is proof that alcohol is just a terrible, terrible thing. I've never smoked pot and then made a decision that I regretted in the morning. You know what I mean? Or besides eating something I probably shouldn't have. That's usually my biggest regret. It doesn't make you forget or black out or get to a point where things are just terrible for me. I do believe that, people getting into it and edibles and the concentrates and all the very, very potent stuff that we have today, it's nothing like what I grew up with. So it is a totally different animal. And this may also not be a true statement for you, So don't always go off of what other people say. I don't think drinking's for anybody, to be fair. I don't. I think it's a poison. It's not good for you. You shouldn't do it. But some people can drink. They can, and that's fine. If you choose to do that, that's great. If you can't smoke or eat edibles or do all those things, that's fine too. That I don't believe is for everybody either. There's nothing out there that is for everybody. I think I've said this a million times now, but we are all individuals. Nothing can be laid out and just be this broad brush of a statement for all of us. And it doesn't matter what we're talking about. So what works for me may never work for you, but at least if you can figure out what does work for you, you can put yourself in a better place. You know what I mean? And that's all this is about, putting ourselves in a better place. So now that I've rambled on for a little bit, we're going to get into some Tophers, topics, theories. I don't even know what to call this anymore. It has gone wild. I have some crazy stuff, and I am excited to get into it today. I really am. This is crazy, crazy stuff. Now, this is not so wild or crazy. Actually, this should have happened a very, very long time ago. Kraft Heinz will remove all artificial dyes from its food by 2027. Now, I think this should have happened a very, very long time ago. I have been saying that if you look at other countries out there and you see that they don't sell the red Gatorade or they don't sell this type of Pepsi or this type of Coke, so they have to make a completely different product for these companies in order to distribute their product all over the world. And I've been saying that we need to look at this stuff and we need to pay attention to it. And we need to be going, hey, why is it okay for you to sell this here, but it's not okay for you to sell it over here? Well, it looks like RFK is finally making all of this happen. I mean, the Moderna, the vaccines, the requirements, the regulated, get your shots, all this stuff is coming to an end, all of it. And now we're finally seeing the food industry being attacked for what they've been doing for way too long, which is poisoning all of us and keeping us sick. So this gets me very, very excited because we are also running into something else that is just mind-blowing, and I didn't even know it was happening. But let's see how close we are to seeing all of these toxic chemicals that are in our food finally go away.
Big changes could be coming to your snack drawer.
Today, the FDA is taking action to remove petroleum-based food dyes from the U.S. food supply and from medications.
This week, U.S. health officials, including FDA Commissioner Marty Makary and Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., announced plans to phase out several synthetic food dyes by 2026 that concern potential links to hyperactivity and attention issues in kids.
We can't continue to exist like this. And the problem is industry is making money on keeping us sick. And we are going to win this battle. And 4 years from now, we're going to have most of these products off the market, or you will know about them when you go in the grocery store.
On the chopping block, red 40, yellow 5 and 6, blue 1 and 2, green 3, and more. So
Good.
Where are they hiding? Try your breakfast cereal.
Everywhere.
Lucky Charms, Fruity Pebbles, Pop-Tarts, even some yogurts. In snacks, Doritos, Hot Cheetos, Twinkies, Jell-O, candy like Skittles, and gummy worms. Even produce, like oranges dyed with citrus red numbered 2, and sausages with orange B. And don't
Wait a minute. Fucking oranges, everybody? Oranges. So I've been eating it too. You can't even eat healthy without them manipulating something, right? Absolutely insane.
forget your drinks, Gatorade, Fanta, and some cough syrups too. The FDA is asking brands to follow the lead of Europe and Canada, swapping petrochemical dyes for natural ones like beet juice or turmeric. Will your favorite foods look a little different in the future?
Yes.
Maybe. But the goal, a cleaner, safer plate.
Look, it needs to be done, everybody. That's what I'm talking about. Looking at the other countries and seeing what they are selling and why. Why don't you have this Gatorade, right? Why is everything made with cane sugar? Why is certain dyes not in the food, you know? And this is why I'm always talking about reading your labels, looking over this stuff, reading that fine print that I say should be absolutely 100% highlighted. And it should be known that this garbage is in our food so that you, as the consumer, can make the proper choice of whether or not you want to consume that product. And I'm hoping that, one, getting these products out of our food will help tremendously, because then you won't have to read the labels so intensively. But at the end of the day, you should always be reading your labels. You should always be looking at your fine prints, and we should always be looking at what we are putting in our body. They have made it so that we think whatever they say or do for us is it's good, right? So we don't have to keep up with them. We don't have to do this. I don't have to read these labels. It wouldn't be on the shelf if I wasn't supposed to be consuming it. Boy, we are wrong. You are wrong. I'm wrong. They put it on the shelf whether it's good for us or not. It's all about the buck. That's what it's about at the end of the day. Now, look at this shit. Mock meat. #fake. What? Now, I have not personally seen this yet, but if this is really making the rounds and they are mixing it in with real meat, this is very disturbing, and this is an experiment. Do not eat this shit. Stay away.
Second video, regular roast, mock. We got mock tender
Look, it says it, mock.
steaks. Yo, that is wild. Gotta keep your eyes out, people. They selling fake meat in the stores now. And you wouldn't even be able to tell. Look at that, side by side. You wouldn't be able to tell. Look at that, side by side. You wouldn't be able to tell.
Holy shit, everybody. Like, that scares me. The simple fact that there is a possibility that you could be just shopping in the store, you're not paying attention, and all of a sudden you're bringing home, I don't know, 3D fake meat. I don't even know how they're making it, right? They're taking cells of real animals and somehow coming up with a fake meat. Okay, so if I don't want to put the dyes and all the bad chemicals in my body, why the fuck would I ever want to eat a meat that actually never came from an animal, that you made in a lab? How many things have they made in labs that literally kill us, hurt us, maim us, are not good for us? Almost everything. So why all of a sudden am I supposed to sit here and go, you know what? This sounds great. I'm definitely going to dive in on this. I mean, you guys have never lied to us in the past about what we're consuming or putting in our bodies, keeping us sick or killing us slowly or giving us diabetes or making sure that the pharmaceutical companies can stay in business. So yeah, no, I totally completely believe that this meat that you're making in a lab is completely 100% safe for me. I absolutely do. I mean, are we absolutely retarded today? How is anybody believing anything that they say anymore? How? I don't, nope. So this right here, I don't know, man. I'm digging into these portals, these openings into other dimensions, and they're very interesting to me because so many people have seen these things, you know, but no one has ever come back to talk about them. Or I don't know anybody that's gone through them and come back, you know what I mean? I haven't seen any videos, but we see all these interesting portals, I guess. So I wanted to play this like compilation because it is very interesting. What are these and what is going on? Are there portals to different dimensions? Is this a dimension that we're just in right now and we realize we're in this dimension? Did the Great Reset happen in 1776? Did we all die in 1988? Is there going to be a world disruption in 2027? I mean, I don't know, everybody, but it seems like no matter what year or time period it is, we are always under the assumption of our demise. But what if we could use one of these portals, these gates, to escape it and go into another dimension where, I don't know, maybe something's better? But according to everything I've ever watched of a movie and, you know, sci-fi, and whenever you go through a portal, you always go to a place that's way worse than where you were at, right? When? I mean, what was that movie I watched? It was really good. He was jumping through time, trying to save somebody, or trying to save JFK. I think that's what it was. And he ended up saving JFK, going back into the future, and everything was gone because JFK was the end of the world. You know what I mean? It was like one of those. And I'm like, see, never works out the way you think it would. But we all truthfully believe that JFK would have put us in a better spot. You know? That's how he's talked about. That is how he's remembered. He's remembered as this great person that was going to expose and eliminate everything and have full transparency, you know? But what if we could travel through some portals? I don't know. I think it would be very interesting. Check this out. So this says CERN fail. Open 17 portals. So there is like a light coming from the ground, and it's opening up in a square in the middle of the sky, and they're zooming in on it, and you can see that it has like a structure to it. And I mean, there's nothing going in or out of it. You have like, what is this ring in the sky, right? What is that? Could it be a portal? Could it be something else? I don't know. But look at this. There was a light coming through there. It looks like almost a break in the sky. Look at that. It looks like an actual square. What are these breaks in the sky? Right? Like, what is that? Could it just be the clouds not forming correctly? I mean, it possibly could. But as they zoom in, you see those breakages. Not that I can talk very well. What is going on here? You got two openings in the middle of the sky. Now, I've seen this before on one of those radar videos where the girl is watching the clouds. And I don't know if that was last week or not, but what are these anomalies? What is happening in the skies? And recently, I just saw a video that was, you know, this is the 1st of July, and I think it was yesterday, so it was the 30th of June, and the video was 3 hours old, and they were showing all these lines, and they were filming the planes. Just, I mean, it looked like, you know, you remember laser tag? Do you remember the background we had when in the early 90s for picture day at school, where it had like the laser beams all behind us? Well, that's what the sky looked like. It was just crisscrosses of these lines everywhere, just making all kinds of patterns, but it was over this one area. What is that? And I'm sorry, it's not just the planes passing through the clouds, creating some moisture thing behind it. It literally filmed looks like an actual dump. You can see the stream going from small to enormous to then dying out. That's not done through clouds. That's a dump. What are you putting in the sky? What are you doing? What if I need to go back to that video and find out what area that is? Because if that's an area where the satellite imagery is showing massive storms, they could be conducting something to devastate another area. They could be conducting something to see whether or not they can change the weather again. But these portals, these things that we're seeing in the sky, I think are more, it's not portals, right? I don't think it's portals. I don't think it's a dimension type of thing. That's not what I'm getting at here. What I'm getting at is I think this is manipulation of our atmosphere. And we are seeing things showing up because our atmosphere is broken. That's what I think these are. So I'm not really leaning towards the whole portal side of everything. I think they broke our atmosphere and they don't know how to correct it. And I think they're trying to fix it and they can't. So maybe what they should do is leave it the fuck alone so that they don't break it any more than they already have. Just saying. I think they broke the shit and they don't know what to do next. So, breaking news, man. This is wild. Breaking news. Our Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says that the CDC covered up an internal study which found a 1,135% increase in autism risk from hepatitis B vaccine. The vaccine that they're telling everybody to get. Could that be the one? Did we finally pop the lid off the can? Is it the hepatitis B vaccine that's screwing everything up? Look, I don't know, but if they did bury a study about this and we're looking at the truth being exposed, this got posted. It's already had 39,000 views. It's got 6.7 thousand comments, 18,000 shares, and it went up 16 hours ago today. Look, if this is remotely close to the truth or 100% real, they're telling everybody to get this shot. Are they not? Isn't it hepatitis B that they're telling everybody to get? Or is it the, there's another one, isn't there? There's another vaccine that, like, for some sexually transmitted disease, I think is what I'm thinking of. I don't think that's this one. But if it is true that they covered up an internal study and found that we are causing autism by injecting this hepatitis B vaccine, dude, that's wild. That is wild. And we need to figure out what is in that causing that, or we need to tell people that once you've had the shot, you have an absolute chance of having a child that could have autism. So maybe there just needs to be a warning on the label. But would they ever put that type of warning on the label? It would probably tremendously destroy their sales, right? We can't be destroying sales. It's all about profit and our margins. We got to do this. So, dinosaurs. Real? Fake? What do you think? I think they're fake. I think they're fake. I think they're all made up. And, you know, if I dig deep enough, I find plenty of videos that prove me right. Look, a lot of things have been shattered in my life, and fossil fuels, dinosaurs, and the fact that we could eventually dry up and run out of things that have been on the planet for God knows how long, I feel like there's always something afoot. And what would stop somebody from continuing this story of, hey, if we figure out a way to make it look like there's tons of these fossils all over the place, we can continue on with our story of how fossil fuels are going to dry up. And technically, dinosaur bones are fossilized. So they're not even the true depictions of what they were, because what they were disappeared. So technically, we're looking at something that doesn't even exist anymore, right? If it is fossilized, it is no longer what it was. It is something different. So, is it so far-fetched to say that dinosaurs are not real? I don't think it's that far-fetched to say that dinosaurs are not real. But this video kind of plays into what I'm saying.
Let me be crystal clear. Every single dinosaur skeleton you see in a museum is fake. What they show you are casts and models, not real bones.
So, I mean, maybe it's not the fossils that we're finding all around the world, but maybe it's all the fossils and the dinosaur bones that are in the museums. Either way, I mean, think about it. They get a bunch of bones, right? And then they have to come up with a theory of what these bones look like and how these bones go back together. And it's pretty incredible how they found so many. And we have so many on display. Actually, we have multiples on display in many different museums. There's that many? We found that many? According to this, no. We didn't find that many. We took what we found, we made something we thought it was, and then we made molds and made it look like we found them all. And we put them in museums, and we tell you to tell our story. Because our story fits the narrative of a round earth, right? Round earth, my timeline, this is what happened, and this is our history. That's what this is. That's exactly what this is. I'm going to tell you exactly what happened, and now I'm going to tell you this is how we got to where we are. Liars. I think they're all lying through their teeth. I really do. So, this is supposedly proof that the world was rebooted. Now, I find this to be very interesting because we are always talking about the end of the world. But what if the end of the world is not the actual end of the world? What if it's just this constant try or attempt at a reset of everything? And every time they try to reset it, I think it gets a little bit worse, right? We're not doing any better. I mean, maybe they should try another reset and maybe I can fall into an area where I actually do better. You know what I mean?
This is the only proof that the world used to be different. Springfield, Illinois, 1954. Students at Lincoln Elementary began drawing maps during geography class, but none of them looked like our world. Oceans where deserts should be, cities that never existed, a continent called Aeon in the middle of the Pacific. When questioned, all the children gave the same answer. It was like this before the last reset. The school called psychologists. They said it was collective imagination, but one researcher became obsessed and compared one of the maps to an ancient Tibetan manuscript, archived in the Library of Congress. The result? A perfect match. The text spoke of cyclical resets of civilization and residual memories of erased realities. 2 weeks later, the teacher investigating the drawings disappeared. In his place, there was only a note on the board. They are fixing the leaks. Erase the copies. To this day, no one knows who they were, but the maps keep appearing in places where children still remember.
Isn't that crazy, dude? What if somewhere in our conscious mind, okay, because I remember the Berenstein Bears, not the Berenstein Bears. What if this shit is true? You know? All the things that I remember when I was a kid are not the same as they once were. Why? Why are they different than the way I remember them? Well, as generations go on and on and on, what if the kids do hold on to memories of something lost? What if it is imprinted in us? And we do have access to it, but all the things that we have today distract us from actually using our minds to our full potential. And if we were capable of doing this, we would see that we've been lied to the whole time. That everything was the way we do remember it, and the way that they're trying to tell us that it happened, well, it's not true. It's wild to think about, everybody, because what if it did happen? What if it keeps happening? What if that particle machine that's supposed to split an atom actually just blew up and it did reset us? There are so many, well, they're not possibilities, right? Because that would be crazy. But it is fun to think about. And I do question why I remember things a specific way, and they're not that way anymore. So maybe these kids collectively remember something lost. And if it does date back to something that was recorded, there's got to be something more to this, right? There's just got to be. It's so interesting to me the way the mind works. You know, my friend, he has a couple kids, and I think I told this story once, or maybe I didn't, but his son had mentioned doing something, right? But he was only so big. I don't remember if he was 1 or 2 or 3, but he had never experienced what he was talking about. He never did what he was talking about. He's brand new, you know? Hasn't even gone to school yet. And he was talking about something that would be impossible for him to do. But yet he said he did it. And I don't remember the facts, but it was a very interesting story. And that's one of the first things I've ever heard that it had me looking into, is it possible that we have more going on than we actually think? Have I lived a previous life and I'm incapable of unlocking those memories because I'm so overwhelmed with the bullshit that's going on today? And we are meant to be distracted so that we can't use the full potential of our mind. I'm not going to say it's not true. You know? Could be 100% true. We don't know. We don't know. We're not at the top. So, more proof. The Rothschilds, they didn't just erase Tartaria. They reset the entire timeline. What if 1776 wasn't just a year of independence? It was the year they took control. The banks, the narrative, the world, and the Rothschilds right at the center of it all. Could this be true? I mean, think about this. If this is absolutely true, and it was not Independence Day, but the actual turn, the very first reset, where everything possibly started going terribly wrong. Who knows? Let's check it out. I told you, this stuff to me, very interesting. All right, this was a pain in the ass to find. X will not play it at all. I finally found it on Rumble. Here we go.
The Rothschilds destroyed Tartaria. Please, let me explain. Their timeline is exactly the same as the reset. Take a look at this. If you look at the Rothschilds' timeline, it's the same as the Great Reset in 1776. Look at this, guys. It's uncanny. When the Rothschilds were becoming established, it's exactly the same time as when Tartaria was on their downfall and the reset was happening. Has anyone ever looked at this? It's obvious, guys. Again, in 1776, it's the same timeline as the Rothschilds' timeline. When they were coming into power, it was the same time as the Great Reset, guys, and the mud floods. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Also, this is the Rothschilds' humble abode. Look at the etheric technology on the top. I think they were a Tartarian family, and they took over, and they knew exactly what was happening, so they made a new world order. Also, the Rothschilds connected to the Oddfellows. The Oddfellows were in charge of all the orphanages through the reset, and the Cabbage Patch Kids. Bit weird, yeah? Also, the Rothschilds funded all the wars, and the wars were only there to destroy all of the old world architecture, guys. Ain't it really adding up now? Understand? And last but not least, the Rothschilds loaned £400,000 back in 1850s. Today, that would be 4.7 billion to the Catholic Church. Come on, guys. They took it from old world to new world, can't you see? And they also destroyed all of the world fairs.
As you can see, man, it is crazy. What are we talking about here? Did these people really do these things? Are they the reason we are where we are today? If that is true, then they're at the top. Those are the people, man. Those are the people. The Rothschilds. Man, that is wild to think about. Cabbage Patch Kids, the Great Reset, the fact we are where we are today because of what they did. They killed the Tartarians, they destroyed Tartaria, and they gave us what we have today. Which, I don't know about you, but I think it's pretty terrible at times. It really is. Not exactly the greatest shit on the planet, you know what I mean? But it could be possible that these people completely and absolutely reset everything, destroyed everything around them that they didn't agree with, and made anew. That was exactly the way they wanted it. Could it be possible? It could. I think anything's possible. We've all seen what enough money will get you today. Now, new U.S. Congresswoman Green says JFK was assassinated for opposing Israel's nuclear program in 1963. Now, I don't know how true this is. I'll put it on the screen for a couple moments. You can screenshot it, blow it up, read it for yourself. I'm just going to read the red highlighted part of it. And it says, there was once a great president that the American people loved. He opposed Israel's nuclear program, and then he was assassinated. So, I mean, at the end of the day, a couple more moments for you all. All right, and I just think that this is a very, very close possibility to be extremely true because there is a reason JFK died. Like I said, that movie depicted whether or not if he lived, it was going to be worse. I don't know if that is to be 100% true. I really do, and I am one of the people that thinks that it probably would have been a better world with him. But is it possible that we were trying to stop nuclear development in Israel? And that couldn't be something that was going to happen. So I was told it was, we are all under the assumption that it was because he was going to expose the Illuminati and the no more secrets, and we're not doing secret societies anymore. And, I felt like that had a lot to do with his death. But is it possible that Israel wanted nuclear development and they were like, you know what? We're doing this. We need your help. If you want to help me, you got to get rid of him. And then it would still have been our CIA that did it. It would have still been a coup. You know? So if there is real evidence that he was killed because of the development of Israel's nuclear weaponry, then what they're doing today is a genocide. It is a wipeout. And we are helping them. And we are just as much to blame for everything going on between Israel and everybody as everybody says. And I mean, when we bombed Iran, I figured Israel got that started so that we would be in it, and they're getting exactly what they want. And I think we are looking at something that we are going to look back on that is not going to be it's not going to be a good reflection of humanity. Let's put it that way. So alcohol is known as, a long time ago, it was known as spirits, everybody. Spirits.
Alcohol means body-eating spirit, alcohol in Arabic. That's why vodka is called spirits. A jinn is a jinn, which is another type of spiritual entity. Alcohol was developed by alchemists who developed a way of extracting spirits from liquid. Alcohol is a form of a magic potion which the ancients used to alter their consciousness. They don't tell you about the astral and etheric plane, the realms beyond physical. Alcohol contains ethanol, which is ethanol, which is the barrier between the physical and the astral plane. Ancient magicians used potions to enhance their speed, strength, or whatever they want. Alcohol is a demonic potion which enhances aggression and violence because you're being possessed by these entities in the astral plane. Alcohol weakens your vibrational field, which allows these entities to enter your body. This is why people change to dark behaviors when they're intoxicated. The entities within them engage in violence and low-level sexual encounters. The whole world is drinking magic potions used for witchcraft. Why do you think you can buy alcohol in every shop and there's a pub on every street? Alcohol also weakens the immune system, kills brain cells, and reduces amounts of oxygen to reach the brain. Magic never disappeared. It was veiled in myths and stories to make it seem like a fantasy.
You see, knowledge is power. When you don't know these things, you have no influence. This book will give you understanding of who you are, where you are, and what you are.
So I don't think buying that book is going to help you at all. I'll be honest with that. I'm not endorsing his book, but if you want to buy it, go ahead. But yeah, I mean, alcohol is terrible. It's horrible for you. And this I agree with 100%. Yeah, so maybe it is some evil potion to keep us mindless, make us angry, and to keep us weak, sick, and under control. I do believe that because ever since I've quit drinking, which September 14th will be 9 years for me, it has been a different world, everybody. A completely and absolutely different world. I think it was designed this way. And I just broke free from one of their chains. You know what I mean? We got to break free from these chains, everybody. So, Peter Pan, actually an evil demon. Now, this I thought was cool. I don't know if they came out with a new movie or something, but I think most of these characters that we're supposed to look at as like a good guy, I think most of them are pretty dark, and Disney flipped it to make them seem like they're so innocent and kind and helpful. But check this out, because this is wild.
Recently, a movie trailer depicting an evil Peter Pan has been making its rounds on the internet and rubbing quite a few people the wrong way.
I'm Peter. It's nice to meet you.
Well, I hate to be the one to break it to you, but Peter Pan is now and has always been evil. Now, Peter Pan was originally created in 1902 by a man named J.M. Barrie in the book called The Little White Bird. J.M. Barrie himself was a man with a near pathological desire to groom children in his writings, while at the same time absolutely hating mothers. But the concept of Peter Pan we are most familiar with came from J.M. Barrie's 1911 novel Peter and Wendy, and this is where shit starts to get dark. dark. Peter Pan was originally described as being around 8 years old and the cross between a bird and a boy who was always playing the flute while small animals chaotically danced around him with what appeared to be two small horns poking out of his head. And I'm sure some of you have already started to put it together. Peter Pan bears a striking resemblance to the Greek god Pan. So not only is our character named Peter Pan, but the Greek god Pan was often seen playing a flute and is the god of shepherds and flocks, which is why early depictions of Peter Pan have him playing the flute while small animals dance around him. Now the thing about the Greek god Pan is he loves causing panic and chaos. The English word for panic quite literally comes from the Greek word Pan. The god Pan was also described as having two horns poking out of the top of his head, just like Peter, and trust me, we're just getting started with the dark side of Peter Pan, because Neverland is definitely not what you think it is. You see, after Peter Pan lures children to Neverland by playing his flute, he then enlists them into his army as child soldiers to help him fight in his war against the pirates and Captain Hook. A war Peter Pan himself started when he cut off Captain Hook's hand when he was a lot younger, but we'll get to that later. So Neverland is not this great place where the kids use their imaginations and have grand adventures. They are almost always killed by the pirates, and if by some miracle they survive in these skirmishes against the pirates, they begin to age, which is against the rules in Neverland, so Peter Pan quite literally them when this starts to happen. The reason Peter Pan tells these kids that they'll never grow up is because no matter what, they are most likely going to be killed. And here's where things get even more interesting. Where did the pirates themselves come from? Well, the pirates are most likely all former Lost Boys who survived in the skirmishes or the attempt on their life by Peter Pan, and then grew up with a vendetta against Peter. Now they're trying to kill him to get out of Neverland. That's why there's adults in a place that's not supposed to have any adults at all. These were all kids who Peter Pan kidnapped and brought to Neverland who ended up growing up. And one of the craziest theories of all is that Captain Hook himself was the first Lost Boy that Peter Pan ever brought to Neverland. And what had happened was Peter Pan recognized that Captain Hook was growing up, so Peter Pan decided he was going to kill him and in the process cut off his hand while Captain Hook was escaping the attempt on his life. And of course, the two have been going after each other ever since. And I hope you didn't think I was going to make a video about an evil Peter Pan without including Wendy in some way. Wendy was originally kidnapped by Peter Pan and brought to Neverland to be sort of a mother figure to the Lost Boys. But at some point, she managed to make a deal with Peter to bring her back home. In exchange for Wendy being returned from Neverland back to her home, she was now in debt to Peter Pan. Peter Pan had this debt paid in the form of Wendy's bloodline. Generation after generation, Peter Pan would return and kidnap the daughter of a daughter from Wendy's bloodline. And as crazy as all of this sounds, the information has always been there in the earliest depictions of Peter Pan. He wasn't some magical being of benevolence. Peter Pan is now and has always been a literal demon.
Wakey, wakey. Peekaboo.
How did you get down there?
I'm Peter. It's nice to meet you.
I mean, I've always thought Peter was evil. I never really understood Neverland because I wasn't one of those people who never wanted to grow up. I don't know. Are there a lot of people out there that never want to grow up? I feel like we all want to grow up too fast today. And always, right? We want what we don't have, and then when we get it, it's not enough, ever. Or it's not what we expected it to be, and we want something different. So that's really the expectations of life itself. But this evil Peter Pan makes way more sense to me. What if Captain Hook was the very first lost child, and he was growing up, and Peter Pan cut off his hand, tried to stop him from growing, and now he's just trying to kill the person that tried to kill him, and he's trying to get out of a place that he doesn't want to be trapped in anymore. And he's not just some evil pirate just roaming around. Now the pirates all make a little bit more sense. But why did they choose to be pirates, right? Why pirates? I guess pirates were big back then. You know, why is Peter Pan dressed like a fairy? I don't know. It's a Disney movie. Who cares? But I never thought Peter Pan was a good person. Just kidnapping kids, bringing them to a place where they'll never grow up, and we're just going to have so much fun. I don't think one kid on this planet that doesn't want to grow up and be a certain age at a certain time of their life because they look at everybody else that's that age or above and they're like, I want that, you know? So I do feel like all these children were kidnapped and then they're not bad pirates. They're people that were treated bad trying to get out of a bad place and go back home. What a twist. What a twist. Now, I don't know much about this new movie for the evil Peter Pan, but I definitely want to check it out because hopefully Disney didn't get their fucking hands on it and turn it into a stupid musical, and I can actually watch the damn thing. Dude, this is wild. Check this out. I can't believe that they're doing this. Netflix re-released the movie Passion of Christ. And I guess this happened.
I didn't believe it because, have you seen how certain streaming shows will edit certain parts out?
They did that for The Passion on Netflix.
Yeah.
What did they take out?
They took out the verse from Isaiah at the beginning.
Isn't that crazy? What? And I saw that. And I saw this one. I said, there's no way. Because in Robin Hood, the one with Russell Crowe, very first, there's a scroll that pops up, and in old lettering, it says, in times of tyranny and injustice, when law oppresses the people, the outlaw takes his place in history. Only in the U.S. Canada, Ireland, people from British.
No way.
They're like, it's on ours.
We're getting so played,
in America. And I just played it, and it doesn't.
We're getting so played.
It literally is just a blank screen for 10 seconds.
Everybody go buy a bow.
I mean, you talk about physical copies of things. What are they are erasing history, and I know it's just a dumb movie.
No,
but if you think they're doing it with a movie,
yeah.
they're doing it on such bigger levels.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes no time.
Exactly.
That's crazy, dude. They are literally deleting history. Deleting it. Why would they take those out? Why would they take that first caption out of that movie? I mean, you can look it up in the Bible. Why would they take it out? Because it represents an uprising. It represents what they don't want. Independence. Not depending on them. And not doing what they're telling us. So they take those things out, probably paying Netflix a pretty goddamn good penny to have them edit those movies and have those things taken out so that we don't see them here, because we all know that we are coming under the thumb of something. And the more we resist, the more we awaken, and the more that we point it out, the harder it's going to be for them. But the more we stay silent, close our eyes, and stay quiet, we just keep making it easier for them. That's wild, dude. Can't believe they did that. So has Tesla been lying to us? I don't know. Let's find out, because somebody says that this Tesla bot revealed the truth.
All right, Tesla bot, come over here. It's time for a break. Yeah, let's play a game. Rock, paper, scissors.
All right, explain me the rules.
Explain you the rules? What do you mean? I'm pretty sure I saw you playing this with Kim K.
No, it was probably my cousin or something.
What's your cousins? All right, anyway. So you have rocks beat scissors, then scissors beats papers, and papers beat rocks. All right, you got it?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, man, I thought you didn't know how to play. 1, 2, 3. Come on, man. Like, I thought you didn't know how to play this game. Like, explain me, how can you win every time?
I can explain why I win every time.
Yeah.
I lied.
You lied to me?
Yeah, but it's not a big deal. I pretended not to know the rules so that while you were explaining them, I was actually scanning your facial expressions and hand movements. This allowed me to predict your next move with only a 10% margin of error.
No.
So the Tesla bot can lie? They've actually put it into the AI that they can lie. So instead of what we all think AI is going to be, they've already made it what we feared. Right? It's lying. It's literally lying about a stupid game. What else is it going to lie about? Everything. It's not what we think it is. It's not being designed for what we think or being told it's being designed for. This is a complete takeover tool. This is going to be our next great reset. This is going to be our reset. It's not going to be mountains and avalanches, tornadoes, and water and all this other shit. No, it's going to be AI, robots, humanoids, and it's going to be a full takeover as soon as they are in every household. It's going to be a flip of a switch, everybody. That's what it's going to be. They're preparing for it, I'm telling you. Now, supposedly this reptilian reporter instinctively hisses on live TV, which I found to be very interesting because, you know, we're always talking about lizard people. Could it be true? Could I have seen them? Well, let's see what happens here. See what a hiss sounds like from a reptilian.
It doesn't, because American farm income is going to go up. It's going to be a great thing for the economy.
They might use it as an entry to exporting chicken to us, which would be, you know.
No, we will be exporting chicken to the Chinese.
Can we buy a Chinese firm?
No, not right now.
Then why should they buy one of ours?
Why not?
Because we can't buy one of theirs. Open up the market.
Very, very well.
Yes, we have capitalism and we embrace it.
And they don't, Clarice.
We have
market.
Very, very well.
Yes,
Clarice.
we have.
Would human make noise like that? Weird.
But we can't buy one of theirs. Open up the market.
Very, very well.
Dude, what was that? Why did he do that? He's just like, is he a reptilian or was he super frustrated and he was stopping himself from saying, fuck you, dude, you're stupid? I agree with his argument, though. I mean, we've been saying this for how long now? Stop allowing these fucking countries to buy shit in our land. Oh, we can't buy theirs, but yeah, why would I stop them from buying ours? Because, you fucking moron, the more you sell of ours, the less we have. They own it now. This is why we are in the predicament we're in. Because we took jobs and we put them in other countries and we allowed the shipping and receiving to be completely dictated by them. Then we sell off our fucking land and farms and housing and all these buildings and parts of New York and California, and other countries now own our country. Well, how long before somebody decides to fucking collect a couple receipts? This is fucking stupid. If they won't allow us to do it, then we shouldn't allow them to do it. And if somebody is not allowing our companies to poison their people, then our fucking people should be smart enough not to poison ourselves. But this is what they want, everybody. This is what they want. They think that the money is all that matters. And once the money is all that matters, you're only focused on the money and nothing else. So it's very easy for somebody to rip the rug out from underneath you. You know? It's fucking crazy, dude. We're going to get into something insane right now. And I did leave this for the end because this is wild, everybody. And if this is any truth to it, I think we were all extremely lied to. And like I said, I have not done this myself. This is a video put together, supposedly, with the translation from Hitler the day he was yelling and screaming about all the stuff that he was yelling and screaming about that I don't believe was actually translated the way it should have been. But I'm not going to say I'm going to believe this video 100%. But man, if this is even 50% correct, I don't know if we did the right thing. I really don't. So, look, I'm putting up a warning right now. If you get easily offended, whatever, you may not want to listen to this. But if this is true, again, I think we were all fucking lied to. All lied to. And we all ate this cake.
I'm not saying he a good guy, but if you go back and listen to his speech in English, we have AI now. So they have his shit translated down to his voice and his tone of how he was speaking that day when he was saying his speech.
Today, I believe that I am acting in accordance with the will of Almighty God. In defending myself against the Jews, I am fighting for the Lord.
We fought on the wrong side of the war, basically, because of ignorance.
We will defend Christianity, and not just on paper. We will burn out the atheism in our culture. We will burn it out, this whole poison.
Jewish people got kicked out of 109 countries for doing what they're doing now.
The decomposition of our literature, the poisoning of our theater, of our movie theaters, all the art is now falling for it.
Hitler was burning all the transgender books, getting rid of all the gay and pedophilia out of his country.
Already the assault begins against the education of our children's brains.
The book burning, those were fucking pedophile books, transgender books.
Lord God, give us the strength to preserve freedom for our people, for our children's children, not only for us Germans, but also for the other peoples of Europe. It is a war for the whole of Europe, and thus really for the whole of humanity.
Like I just said, if that is remotely true, that we were on the wrong side. And were we on the wrong side because we didn't understand what they were saying? Or did the narrative turn into what he was saying was evil? And we believed him, or we believed them, we believed this story that they told us because I didn't know what he was saying, but he did sound angry. And it did sound like, what they told me it was. It was them, and they were talking about taking over the world and destroying all literature and silencing everybody and just being under this control of this dictator that was going to take over the world. And he was evil. Well, that doesn't seem to be very true at this moment in time. Now, I wasn't there. I don't know. But we have these speeches. We have what he said. So now it's up to us to run it through AI. It's up to us to take a deeper dive into what they have told us was, they stopped an evil, evil person from taking over the world. Or is that just the pill they fed us? And was the things that I am finding out and I'm reading and listening to, along with this video added into the collection now, has it been an absolute complete lie? Were they trying to wipe out gay and transgenderism? Were they trying to stop the government from poisoning children's minds with the information that right now everybody is pulling their kids out of school? They're saying that they don't want the kids to know this. They're doing it again right now. Right now. With gender-affirming surgery, not telling parents when the kids are making these decisions. They're doing it right now. And none of us agree with it. Look, I've said 1,000 times, and I'll say it 1,000 more. If you want to change yourself when you turn 18, go right ahead. I don't care. It's not about you. But if you are a child and your parents are helping you with this, it is nothing but clout. And they are disgusting people, and they are ruining your life. There was just a case, I don't remember where, but the parents helped the child turn into a girl. They went through all the surgeries before this person turned 18. The person, I believe, is now either 18 or 20, and they have now just turned around and sued the doctor for allowing the parents to make the decision for him. this is what I've been saying, everybody. Stop manipulating the kids. Stop changing the kids for your appearance. And nobody should be making this type of a decision for anybody before they get the chance to make the decision for themselves. So, I don't know if we were on the right side or the wrong side. But if the Rothschilds took out the Tartarians and made the world that we're all living in today, then it is possible that we were on the wrong side of this, we were on the wrong side of Gaddafi, we were on the wrong side of a lot of things. Because we're always on the side of Israel. And as we just found out, it's a possibility that JFK died trying to stop them from acquire nuclear weapons. Same fucking thing that they're doing to everybody around them today. So, look into it, dig into it, figure it out for yourself, and leave a comment, send a message, send an email. If you want to go further into this, let me know, all right? And as always, everybody, I just want to say thank you again to all of my subscribers. If you're new, remember to subscribe. The email, talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. Send an audio, video, or type it out. And then you got the link tree, along with all the links to this episode today. And I hope everybody out there has an amazing rest of your Thursday. I hope you enjoy your weekend. And as always, I'll talk to you